Alright, picture this. You're gearing up to go for a ride and you reach for your favourite hoodie and jeans, just thinking that they're your casual clothes. But here's the kicker. What if I told you that they could be reinforced with armour and Kevlar lined? Well, that's exactly what I'm wearing today, and I'm going to go into depth of the pros and the cons on these ones and do a little bit of a review to let you guys know if they're going to be worth your money or not. Welcome back to the Whisky Throttle Club. I'm going to be reviewing a couple of protective items. Let me know if this is something that you want to keep seeing or if it's something that you don't really care for. The first brand that I'm going to be covering is a brand from here in Australia, and it's called Johnny Reb. I'll throw the link to their website below, but I'll also throw the link to the items that I'm reviewing below as well. The first video is going to be on their protective pants and their protective hoodies, and then I'll also do one on their helmets and their protective shoes, which I'm currently wearing. I'm going to go over a couple of things, which is going to be the pros, the cons. I'm going to go over the price point and my personal thoughts. So let's jump into it. Now I'm going to start off with the pants. So these pants have CE level 1 protective armour in the knees, and they also have Kevlar on the insides of them. Now the pants are stitched really well and it has great hardware on them. One thing I really enjoyed at a closer look, that all the hardware has Johnny Reb written on them. Now if you turn these ones inside out, you'll see all the yellow spots is where the Kevlar is. Now the Kevlar is in the perfect positions. If God forbid you fall off your bike and you start sliding, that's exactly where the Kevlar is going to be. Now the sizing on these fit me perfectly, and they have a little bit of stretch in them as well, which is perfect. And to me, they look like your everyday casual jeans. Obviously with the pads in, they do look a little bit more bulky, but that's another great thing about these. You can just slide them in and you can slide them out really easily. With the pros out of the way, let's get into a couple of the cons. Now there are a couple, but most of them are a pretty easy fix. The first one is the padding in the sides on your hips. It is quite big and bulky, but the easiest thing you can do is just pull that one out if you don't want it in there. The second thing that I noticed, which to me is also another easy fix, is the back Johnny Reb logo on the waistband. That big tag is going to rub on your back, and after a while it actually gets extremely irritating unless you have your jocks really high or you tuck your shirt in. Now this is an easy fix. The tag can easily just be removed by taking the stitching out. The third and final con to these pants is, like I mentioned before, they are Kevlar lined and they also have a bit of a mesh in them. Now one thing I noticed is when I'm taking my feet out of them, my heel actually gets caught in the mesh. After the first time of putting them on and taking them off, I realised the easiest way to do it is to hold the mesh and pull the mesh over my heel just before pulling my leg out completely. Now once again, this would be an easy fix. All it needs to be is a stitch along the bottom, just so that mesh is secure and it doesn't sort of flap around on your calf area. So these pants are the Hume protective pants off Johnny Reb, and they go for about 209 Australian dollars. Now to me, this isn't actually a bad price point at all, considering my pair of Dragon jeans cost me over $300. For $200 to protect yourself while you're riding, I think that's a really good deal. Now for this protective hoodie, I'm actually going to start with the cons first, because personally I only actually had one. Now the one con is these drawstrings are super long. I originally thought that these would end up hitting me in the helmet when I was riding, but that wasn't the case. And even if it was, you can easily just tie them up into a little bundle and that would solve that problem. Now the pros for this hoodie, the first one is the weight of the hoodie. Now I love myself a heavy hoodie, and this one hits the nail on the head. I also love the fact that there's no big brands on it and it is quite casual and it looks like just your normal everyday run-of-the-mill hoodie, but keeping in mind that is actually pretty much fully Kevlar lined. All these yellow sections is actually where the Kevlar is. So it's pretty much covered 100%. Now the only places that doesn't have Kevlar is in the cuffs and in the hood. But apart from the Kevlar, it's also got the same CE level 1 armour in the elbows and also in the shoulders. And these are all removable. So if you wanted to go for a casual ride just to your local cafe 5 minutes down the road, you could take them out so it's not big and bulky, but then you could slide them back in if you're going for a 2-hour cruise. Now the price for this hoodie is the same as the pants. It's roughly about 209 Australian dollars. With this hoodie, it might seem like an expensive price, but considering the amount of Kevlar it's got in it and the armour as well, that's pretty much on point with everything else that I've had a look at online. Even for me, I was having a look at my local Harley Davidson dealership for Kevlar lined and armoured hoodies, and they were roughly the same price. Obviously those had the big Harley Davidson logo, but for me, I like something that's sleek, and that's the one thing that I enjoy, is that they don't have any big branding on them as well, and it makes it really look like a casual streetwear sort of brand. Like I mentioned, I'll throw the links down below to both of these items and to the Johnny Reb website. If you like this review, hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications for when I do my next review. Otherwise, like I mentioned before, check out the links for Johnny Reb, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.